The manager dominoes are starting to fall in the football world. With Marseca signing with Chelsea, it's a very interesting signing for them, and he's one of the first managers to get this new signing. Many other managers have been fired or re-signed themselves, like Xavi Hernandez has been fired, Mckenna's re-signed for Ipswich, and Kompany's in the process of wanting to sign with Bayern Munich. They've already agreed to a $10 million sum to buy him out of the Burnley contract. But the first one I want to talk about is Marseca signing at Chelsea. Todd Boehly's kind of gotten exactly what he wants here. He's got a manager that's just going to be a head coach. He's got a kind of a figurehead manager. This guy's, Marseca's not going to come in and kind of play his own style. He's not going to come in and really change things. He's not going to come in and have his way with transfer policy or who's coming in or who's being sold. He's just going to kind of be told to shut up and listen. And what the issue is with Marseca coming in, you have at Chelsea an American owner who's putting in a board that they just don't know what they're doing. £1 billion have been spent. Sound like a broken record, but it's true. £1 billion have been spent. And they've been absolutely terrible. They're in the Europa Conference League. They fired Pochettino, who ended the season on a 5-game win streak, scoring a ton of goals. And they brought in Marseca, who he led Leicester to a championship winning season. But we've seen in the past, like especially with just Kompany recently now, he came up with Burnley after having an amazing season in the championship, and they went right back down. So really doing something great in the championship isn't really all it's cracked up to be. And if you look at his previous appointments, he started in Sevilla as an assistant coach, and then he moved into the Manchester City under 23, and then he managed the Manchester City Academy. And so obviously he's worked with Pep and stuff, and I think that's what's kind of landed him this job is he's worked with Pep Guardiola. People are kind of interested in that. They want kind of the coaching tree of Pep to really explode and really help their teams move forward. But is Marseca going to be that good? Because when he went on his own and coached Parma in 2021, he signed in May 2021 and was fired in November 2021. And that season, Parma finished, I think, mid-table in Serie B. So he's even shown when he's kind of stepped out on his own and he's not been in an ideal situation, it doesn't really go too well for him. And what kind of football is he going to be playing, right? Because at Parma, again, it wasn't exciting. It was losing football. They only won 11 games in the entire season. I don't know how many he won himself, but the entire season, Parma only won 11 to just stay up in Serie B. And then when he managed Leicester, I mean, anyone probably could have got Leicester back up into the Premier League. Jamie Vardy stayed, Dewsbury Hall stayed, right? They had players on the team who stayed and were willing to bring the team back up. So it was an ideal situation for a manager to go into, kind of build some credibility, and then move himself back up into the Premier League with that team. So is Marseca kind of like a false hope here, right? Whereas if you compare to like a manager like Kieran McKenna's done back-to-back promotions. He's been at Ipswich, who do not have this massive bankroll, don't have parachute payments, have had to kind of scrap for what they've gotten. And because he's done that, again, like Chelsea was obviously interested in him, but he ultimately ended up wanting to re-sign at Ipswich. So Chelsea were kind of left in this spot where they've now signed Marseca, but there are players like Xavi Hernandez who were on the market, who was just fired by Barcelona, and he himself, they just agreed to terms on how much they were going to like buy him out for. So it's just kind of weird they went with Marseca, but I think they go with Marseca because he's inexperienced. He's not really proven anything as a manager, so they're going to be able to control him. And like I said before, all transfers are going to be done by the board, whether it's selling or bringing players in. All kind of what's happening at the club is going to be done by the board. All kind of coaching and like the philosophy being put in are going to be done by the board. And then Marseca is going to kind of be there as a figurehead, talk to the media and be there at practice and be on the touchline during games. But I think that's about it. So if you're a Chelsea fan, are you really happy with this? Or are you just kind of like, okay, well, we're going to get 10th place this season? Because that's where I see you finishing with Marseca as the head coach. I don't see you doing much of anything. And really, the biggest concern, even if you're just an English fan, is Cole Palmer going to regress under Marseca? Because Marseca going to be able to coach a player of the pedigree of Cole Palmer and build him up to be the player that we all think he can be. Because Cole Palmer will be an absolute legend for England if he has the right coach and the right staff behind him. And I'm worried for Chelsea fans is Cole Palmer going to ask for a move at the end of next season because he feels like he's regressing under Marseca? So there's a lot of things that need to be answered in terms of this Marseca signing at Chelsea. But there's other dominoes in terms of the managerial world that have been falling. Like I mentioned earlier, Xavi, who's been fired by Barcelona, he just agreed to terms of what they were going to buy him out for. And in 142 matches at Barcelona, he won 90 of them. He was doing really good. I mean, he did lose, I think it was last season in the Europa League to Manchester United, during Manchester United's like glory period that season. So, that was a bit of a stain, and, they didn't win it this year, but they were close enough this year, but Real Madrid was just better than everyone. So it's not like he's underachieved. I guess he's just not overachieved. So I don't really know what they're going to be looking for at Barcelona in order to replace him. But for Xavi, what do we think's next? Do we think he's going to maybe try to sign before the summer's up and get in a team at the start of the season? Or do you think he's going to wait to see if something kind of opens up with the manager getting fired, right? I'm assuming the Chelsea job would have been available to him, and maybe he's looking at the Manchester United job if Ten Hag gets fired, or maybe the Bayern Munich job. I mean, that with Kompany could get fired pretty quickly. I don't think he's going to be doing too good there, so maybe he's waiting for that. Because I don't see him going to go manage like an Everton. I don't see him going to go manage, a Southampton or a Fulham. Like, I don't see him making that big of a drop off. But what kind of big jobs do you see opening up? Like, maybe PSG could open up, like with Mbappe leaving, and they kind of want to maybe get a coach in there that can kind of coach up a team and maybe help them take them to Champions League glory. Who knows? But right now, for Xavi Hernandez, like, what is next for him? Like, let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen with him, because he has been fired. They've agreed to what they're going to buy him out for, and where does he go next? Maybe he even tries to manage an international team. I think that'd be amazing to see him do that too, because he's clearly a good coach. He knows what he's doing. He's a great player when he was playing, so he's got a lot of football knowledge. So I think he'll definitely be a hot candidate going forward. Another big signing in terms of the Premier League managers is Mckenna. He re-signed at Ipswich. He got them back-to-back promotions from League One and the Championship, and now he's in the Premier League with them. They had the most goals in the Championship this season with 92, and they also, I think they had the least amount of losses. They just had a ton of draws mixed in there, right? That's what let Leicester win the league. So Mckenna, hopefully he can keep Ipswich up. I would love for them to keep Ipswich up. I don't want it to be 3 up, 3 down like it was this season. But what do you think he has to do? Who do you think he has to bring in order to help them stay up? Obviously, he's able to play attacking football, so maybe at the end of the season when they're coming up against like an Everton, they're coming up against a Nottingham Forest or a Southampton or a Leicester, maybe he can help squeak out some wins there with the attacking football. But is he going to be able to defend as well as he did in the Championship? Because he's got to be able to go to, West Ham and get a draw. He's got to be able to go to, a mid-table team like Crystal Palace and get a draw. And Crystal Palace might be just doing great next season, who knows? But he's got to be able to find draws, find like the odd victory here and there in order to keep them up, because they're going to need probably 35 to 40 points to stay up. Do you think they're going to get that? They're going to have to go 3 for 3 from home against Southampton, Leicester, and Nottingham Forest. Probably have to get a draw and a victory against Everton. And, that there only leaves them at 13 points. So where are those other points going to come from? I do think he'll be able to keep them up. And then another interesting development in the managerial role is Vincent Kompany signing for Bayern Munich. That's getting very close to being done. Bayern Munich's bought him out of Burnley for 10 million. And I mean, if you're Sean Dyche, you got to be thinking to yourself, what do you have to do in order to get a better job? Like, he got the Everton job after, keeping Burnley up all those seasons. And oh my God, Vincent Kompany brings him up and sends him right back down playing some weird brand of football that, attractive to the eye, but just kept them losing. And he's got the Bayern Munich job. So clearly, Bayern Munich just wants his up-and-coming manager, but I don't think Kompany is an up-and-coming manager. I think, again, they're going to lose probably Leverkusen next season again, or maybe even Dortmund, who knows? Because Kompany's not going to be able to do the job for them. I don't think Kompany is a good manager at all. Again, he was at an ideal situation in Burnley in the Championship, bringing them right back up. Sean Dyche had coached them up very well, and he had great players like Dwight McNeil to help them get out of the Championship. And then again, you see when he gets to the Premier League, absolutely nothing's been done. So can he really even handle the pressure of coaching a massive team in Bayern Munich? Can he handle the pressure of coaching in Europe, coaching in massive cup competitions? I don't think he can. I do not think he'll be good. And I do see him failing at Bayern Munich and this being a kind of a one season for him and Bayern Munich getting rid of him. And maybe even Xavi gets in there. I'd love to see Xavi in there. I don't want to see Kompany in there, but I do hope Kompany is successful. I just don't think he will be. And those are my takes on the kind of managerial dominance I've been following recently. Let me know in the comments what you think I was wrong about and what you think I was right about.